Well, hi all. Welcome to Sunday School for this week. And it's the holidays. Woo! I hope you're planning to do something fun over the next 2 weeks. Sometimes these holidays are known as the tatty holidays. And you know, when my mum was wee, she would have to go out in these holidays and pick potatoes, which is pretty hard work. Not so much of a holiday. I hope you've got something a bit more fun than picking potatoes for this one. Can you think back to what we were talking about last Sunday? Do you remember? It was Karen teaching us, and she was telling us about sin and the fact that sin is actually a really big deal. It's a really serious thing. Do you remember she told us about some of the characters in the Bible who had sinned, and there were some serious consequences? She told us the story of David and the story of Achan. And we looked at the memory verse from Romans chapter 6, verse 23, which said, can you remember? It said, the wages of sin is death. What we earn, what we deserve when we sin, is death. Serious business. And if we sin, we're in trouble. Now that's pretty bad news, to be honest. Really bad news for us. But we can't just ignore bad news or pretend it's not there. It's always better to face it. Unfortunately, as we'll see today, God's got some good news for us. In fact, this is the good news. It's the goodest news there is. Well, it would be if goodest was a word. Now, I'm not sure if you noticed, but the Bible has loads of rescues in it. God loves to show us a good rescue. Loads of stories that involve some kind of rescue. And I wonder if you can think of any. You could pause the video and have a go if you want. Any rescue stories? Well, I've got some clues for you, which you can use to see if you can work out which Bible stories I'm thinking of. Some of them might be easy, some of them a little bit harder, but they're all stories where there's a rescue. I'm not going to tell you the answers either, so see how you get on. Okay. First of all, just a lion. Secondly, here's a rainbow. What story does that tell you of? Thirdly, here's a whale. Now we might get into a few trickier ones. This is a boat. And this is well, let's call it a pillow. Here's some salt. Know what that story could be? That's a difficult one. And lastly, here's a wee guy and a really big scary guy. A wee guy and a big scary guy. Recognize any of those? Some of them were a bit tricky, but there are actually loads of rescue stories in the Bible. Way more than the few I've just shown you. But there is one really big rescue story, one huge rescue. And it runs all through the Bible from the very first book to the very last. You see, God knew about the bad news of sin, and he made a plan to deal with it. He knew that the wages of sin is death. and he made a rescue plan to save us from those wages. We'll have a think about this plan in a moment, but first it would be great to sing a song that we looked at recently, one of the Awesome Cutlery songs. So we're going to sing The Hero, and you should be able to click on that video below.